Hello guys, welcome everybody to day 19 of the trading marathon here on this channel. My name is Daniel, and in today's video I will introduce you to the concept of support and resistance of chart analysis and how to use it, how to spot it. But I want to mention straight from the beginning that this is just a concept we need to know, but not a concept that I'm personally relying on in order to make my trades. But I want you really to get the full knowledge here in this 42 day-long video course. And that's also a knowledge or a chart analysis technique that many beginners especially are working with. And the spicy sauce on the information that I'm providing you with here in today's and tomorrow's video is that most of the traders are not profitable, right? And most of those unprofitable traders are beginner traders in the first 1-2 years. And after they are frustrated for 1-2 years, they stop trading. And new beginner traders are coming and that circle is repeating. That's why there are so many of those unprofitable traders, because most of them are in year 1 or 2, and that's why, and then they are quitting, and only very few make it to the moment where they become profitable and struggle through that long, and from then on obviously they don't quit trading anymore. Then they reach the top, I think like 1% of traders who is even profitable, in their overall P&L. I honestly, for example, need to tell you, if I would not have made 2.2 million in 2024, I would not be profitable. Very likely not, no. But obviously this win and how I spent a lot of that already also, and like the different kind of investments and so on. So, obviously I lost also a good part of that 2.2 million, but I am overall absolutely profitable. But mainly because of this, yes. But what I want to tell you is that most people are like, okay, the majority of beginner traders, they don't even know about chart analysis, they just press random buttons. Okay. Well, there is then the advanced type of beginner traders who also have no clue, but they go on YouTube, listen to what somebody says and do then some bullshit that they heard. Okay. And then there are the very small type of even more advanced trader who try to learn some concept, and the first concept that they will, learn or hear or, see somewhere is the concept of support and resistance. So that's why they believe this is successful and easy to learn, okay, and that's why they start with that. I want to introduce you to that, but I tell you that even those people are most likely losing money because support and resistance is something that fucks you over and over again, because it is respected mainly, but not always, and you have no idea of how to predict when there will be a so-called fake out and so on. But let's not get too technical here. We'll really show you everything on the chart. It's just an quite, let's say, big topic that I really need to prepare you for, okay? So first of all, well, how is it the best to introduce you to that concept? Well, maybe I like, for example, the idea of learning by doing. So maybe I will draw now some support and resistance lines on this chart, so you will clearly see with your own eyes what the concept of that is, and then I will point out what the actual problem with this concept is, okay? And then more advanced in tomorrow's video, I will also show you, because there are also some patterns formed by those resistance and support lines that, well, it is part of the knowledge, of the common knowledge of chart analysis, so you need to have it, but I'm also not using, support and resistance pattern because of those fake outs. But I will, let's go step by step, we have many more days to go, let's enjoy the journey. So, what I'm using to mark support and resistance, or actually I'm not using it at all, but what people would use to mark support and resistance lines on the charts are any types of those lines. And for example, I'm using here in this specific case a normal trend line. You click on that, and then you can define a starting and an ending point of this trend line, and just follow where I'm putting it, and you will get the concept on the first time when you see it. Well, for example, here you see something. It gets even more clear. Let's end it here. You see, you could think that somehow this line here, supported the price movement somehow to bounce towards the upside, so that's why it's so-called support. But straight away in this specific example I can point out why I hate this technique so much and why it's not, I don't think, you know, doing it is profitable, but we can use it later on very much to our advantage, because we need to know where other people put their stop loss. Honestly, it's such a good skill, it's a great skill. So basically what you will use support and resistance later on is not really to, you know, make your prediction. You have your prediction from Elliott Wave and Smart Money Concepts, but what you will use support and resistance for is to identify what would a very much beginner do right now, and where would he put his stop loss based on that. And then you will put your buy order there, you know, to rip him off. Because, look, I'm pointing out what I mean. Boom. You know, like support and resistance traders, they spotted this line already from the first two bounces, then they went long here, got stopped. They went long here again, got stopped. And then boom, it jumped up, and all those people who got stopped twice there went crazy. You know how much rage bait you will get when you go long here, you get stopped, you go long here again, you get stopped, and then it makes from $1,700 to $4,000 a bounce. You know, you will probably throw your device out of the window. I once threw my device out of the window, for example. But we don't want it to happen to you at all. That's why I just introduce you to the concept of it and tell you that exactly this is the trap on this type of knowledge, and you will use it later on to rip other people off, but you know, not directly, but to rip the market off, because you know where other people place the stop loss based on that. But what I'm pointing out is, you know, mainly it gets always respected, and you know that already after the second touch point in most cases that it will be like this. But you never know when some, you know, like price movement like this is happening, which goes slightly below the support and will rip your stop loss if it is placed there. But on the other hand side, you must have a stop loss somewhere, otherwise you definitely fuck over your risk management, so you must always place a stop loss. And then, you know, in some cases like this, it provides you really from, you know, a very bad sell-off, and it's very well placed there. But in some cases like this and this, it's just, you know, like very predictable, and the market will hit it very often. But I hope you get the concept. The same idea is also possible with resistance lines. I mean, where can we spot a resistance line? I'd say one is here. I mean, it's not such a clear rocket science, because it's so subjective. You can really draw those resistance lines into everywhere. There are also several types of patterns which are formed by these support and resistance lines. I will introduce you to them tomorrow, okay, in tomorrow's video, but not really that you trade it, but just so you know it. Because what I can tell you about pattern, well, very often they are really just completely wrong. Like a W pattern is very often not doing what a W pattern is supposed to do. What a W pattern is supposed to do. No, it's just, you know, a correction, and it will go in this complete other direction. But sometimes patterns are really right, you know, like they are often playing out because they are not there for no reason, you know. They have also some likelihood of playing out, but what they very often do is they play out in the way they should, but they will first of all rip your stop loss if it's placed too close near support and resistance, okay? And this knowledge will be nice to have for you in the future, even though your prediction and your market movement expectation should have to do nothing with support and resistance. It's really just to find an entry and see where liquidity is placed, you know, in the market, at what price range, where, for example, people could have placed a stop loss because they're scared of some support and resistance or something. But I hope you get the idea. I mean, those resistance and support lines can be found on any time frame. If we, for example, go on the 15-minute time frame, let me show you here. Boom. So it's a clear resistance to the downside, but I can tell you right now, you have no idea knowing, you have no way of knowing if it will be broken to the upside and gives, for example, a breakout, or if it just again, like here, gets rejected and we get a huge sell-off to the downside. And that's also some reason why I don't find it very useful to even draw them into the chart. I personally never do. But yeah, well, just as I said, I want to equip you with the full knowledge on this journey, you know. But I tell you also, don't be too excited about it. Please don't go on and please don't open any trades today based on LP. Please no. Please be more patient. Tomorrow I will also show you more about that in combination with patterns. You can form of them, but also please don't open any trades tomorrow, okay? Please be more patient. You will be able to open trades very soon. It's only a couple more days until you have really a knowledge that you can be very proud of, but we are not quite there yet. Give me a couple more times. This trading marathon is going until day 42. Did I show you already today's half marathon? Number 19. Boom! And guys, I really hope you enjoy the content. For example, right now, live as I'm uploading it every single day, there are really a little amount of viewers, but I'm still happy to have you. I'm really happy. And I hope also the whole video series will provide a long-term value. And that's why I really want to make a good job here and also really want to equip you with the knowledge that you will be successful with. And you know, people will ask you where you got it from and you will tell them it's all for free on this channel. So let's stay patient here, guys, and we see each other in tomorrow's video. Ciao, ciao.